I live here, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And it's, you know...
Whereas I'm not so used to it anymore. Very hot in Las Vegas.
Yes, I can imagine the difference. It hasn't, the temperature's dropped, but it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, with conversation
it feels
flowing,
good.
right?
I feel
exactly.
good. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, the first thing that struck my eye, I noticed that you changed your profile picture and you had a picture with Jesse Jackson. Tell me about that, because I've met him too.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Years ago. He's amazing, isn't he?
He's an amazing character, person. I was actually doing a masterclass a few weeks ago at the Economics Convention, and that's a convention that was touring the actual UK just to share information about how we can achieve equality amongst different communities.
Fantastic.
And my part was in talking about social networking and how we could actually use social networks to interact, and actually how to build business and meet people using social networks. So I was there in that capacity as a speaker, but while listening to Jesse, he must have noticed me scribbling down everything that he was saying, because I actually work for a newspaper as well. I do a little bit of writing. And we were interacting, so at the end of his speech he actually invited me to come and join him on the stage. He invited me out of the audience, so we were sitting and he says, I'd love you to come up and take a picture with me. And I'm like, who, me? He's like, yeah, you, please come and take a picture with me. So yeah, we had a few pictures
And actually
taken.
there's a likeness.
He looks like my dad.
I was going to say, now I'm looking at you. I don't know if it's because I'm looking at you from the side, but there's a likeness.
Oh, wow.
You actually look like you could be a family member, and maybe he saw something in you.
Maybe, yeah. He looks a lot like my father, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so that was a little rapport there, but yeah, fantastic. When he left, actually, it was quite funny because he came up to me as he was leaving the building and said, oh, you keep taking those pictures, girl, you keep on doing what you're doing. So it's like he picked up the energy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's a great character. So yeah, it was a fantastic experience.
He's definitely for the people, isn't he? That's what I like about him.
And he, you know, his overall message on that day was about just equality not being about how we treat the greatest of people, but how we really look after those that aren't doing so well. And I really love that message, actually reaching out to different people.
I do too. He's, I mean, we're honoured to have him in America, and I wish actually in England there were more people like him that were more prominent as worldwide figures.
Very true. I mean, in the States, so is there anybody that stands out over here that you guys...
Not that I am aware of. Although I'm not big on media, I don't really watch the news or anything like that anymore. So I could be wrong, but I would love to know if there is somebody. So if any of our viewers know of somebody, please drop us a line and let us know. So let's talk about you, Sophia. So I know that you're running a forum, and it's a success. What is it?
It's called the PPSN.
Yeah.
And that stands for Positive People with Skills Network, which they do.
Love it, love it.
And we're all joined by a fantastic mindset of wanting to help one another, and all just recognising that we do have at least one amazing skill that is a strength to you, that comes naturally to you, but for someone else that might be a weakness and they might be looking for you. So it's about connecting those people and valuing everybody.
Yeah.
You know? So it's working really well.
And you've got some really prominent people in your network there. I noticed that you had Nadia Harper and and lots of other people that I see moving and shaking throughout the UK in personal growth.
Most definitely. I think that those I'm glad that you've mentioned his name, actually, Deo, because he's a great friend of mine, and I think there are as a speaker in the UK, there's quite a close-knit circle of people, and it's great that once anybody has a project, everybody else will be there to support them.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really close-knit like that, and I've noticed that there's a lot of the same people in the same places. So as soon as I say to, Deo Alumo or Lee Jasper or Yvonne Thompson, those sort of people to come on board, they're on board.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's absolutely fantastic. That's great. And I really like it when you're able to learn from somebody else who's carved their way through, learn from their experiences and are willing to pass it on to you, and vice versa. You can share that information with other people too. So tell me about when you first started your business, how was that for you? What kind of background did you come from?
Actually, I came from a completely different background. I've come from the field of accountancy, finance.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you're a good person to know then.
Somewhat, but it's interesting actually because what I liked about being in accountancy was mainly the part in helping people get through these problems, you know, the finance and taxation, and I'd been in the field for 12 years before I actually realised what it was that I liked about it. Because I started off at a private practice when I was 18, and there was a client that came that specifically wanted computerised accounts. This was a long time ago, and so the main accountants then weren't using computers. They weren't using it at all, and obviously I wanted to help. So I learned this package and was doing that for him, and then became known as like a specialist in computerised accountancy. So would go from client to client at a very young age, helping people. And then I settled down in practice again. I got headhunted and put behind a desk, which I couldn't stand, and again left and went freelance. And it was just this pattern of doing that until it was actually a discussion with a friend of mine, just saying to each other, we all have these skills in so many different fields. We can really help each other, couldn't we? We ought to just meet once a month, get together and find out what it is and teach each other these skills. So it started with a text to about 10 of my friends, just saying, look ladies, we all have great skills in different things. We're moving to the top of our field, as I was a finance director by then, 12 years later, and why don't we just get together once a month and share? And the response was overwhelming.
Isn't that fun? I love when it all just works like that.
Yeah, so we would meet once a month and we'd have, you know, a particular topic as this network. So maybe integrity of doing what it was that that you said you were going to do, or resolution, or discipline, or just something that would centre our conversations around and share. So that was a few years ago now, and it was just very recently that I became this hub. Like if anybody wanted to know someone else, they'd come to me. Sophia, who do you know that does this?
Okay, good.
And that's how I'm known now as a central hub to say, who do you know?
Oh, awesome.
But I thought it was time to take myself out of the picture and let this grow without me. So this is where
Did you feel like you outgrew it, or?
No, I just know that there's only so much that one person can do. Can you imagine if there were 100 of me doing what I do, being central people, and just if you wanted to find anyone, just going directly there. And I just thought, how fantastic would that be? So the network, pretty much the online social network, started then.
So how did you decide to go from accounting to personal growth, even though it was still networking?
Well,
how did that come about?
With the place the last place that I worked at, we organised a lot of events as well. So I knew I was already a natural networker by then. But actually, it probably started because I was brought up in network marketing.
Oh, right.
My mum was an amazing network marketer who went from door-to-door sales to area manager, regional. You know, she was recognised all over Europe for her work, and she brought me with her. So when I was 5, I was doing presentations.
Got to learn from the master.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
I'd always been unafraid of speaking to people, and always around that pretty much personal development material.
Yeah.
And the person I looked up to most was Les Brown. I thought, wouldn't it be cool? Do you know Les Brown?
Yes.
So wouldn't it be amazing to be like a female Les Brown and impact that many people? And I actually had the opportunity to bring him over to the UK at the beginning of this year. So I believe I met Les. That was awesome.
That's great. How did the people here respond to him? Were they aware of him before he came?
I think if you're in network marketing or personal development, you're aware of him. Actually, maybe in the church as well, they're quite aware of him. But outside, not as much. So it was about bringing that sort of message to the masses, really.
Yeah, because in network marketing, do you find that there's a sort of edge of personal growth that keeps you motivated then while you're going about and building your networks and making the sales happen and
you have to.
done?
You
Is that
have
how
to.
you got involved with it?
You have to, and I think what I loved most was the personal development aspect.
Yeah.
So I've actually stepped out of the network marketing and stayed with the personal development, to be honest with you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that you can't really be in a field like that if you're not growing yourself, if you're not learning to, you know, to communicate with people, to handle when people say no and not take that personally, and be confident and strong in yourself, and just to have the motivation to continue building knowledge about your own business or your own product or your own industry. It's vital.